Hey, this is Professor Homa. Welcome to EX7 Info Form, and we're going to be creating this form. It looks very simple, and it's a fairly simple form, but it will take a little more code than we've been doing before, and it'll also take a little more CSS to line it up. A couple things I just want to point out at this finished product here. You can see we have a little bit of margin around it. We have a little bit of padding inside the form. We have a background color. We have a border, corner radius, some things that are pretty obvious right off the bat. But some other things that we're going to have to do with CSS, take a look at these things here. The first name, last name, street, city. You can see they're aligned right, but this whole section, and it's not really set up as a section, but all these elements, they're labels, and we're going to use the label for attribute for these elements here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to float them. We're going to give them a width so that they're as long as the longest element here, which would probably be your home state. And we're going to give them a width, and then we're going to float them left so that all the other fields actually move up to the right side of them and actually line up to the left side of them. And these are the input text fields. The input text field here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Some of them have different lengths. Remember, we could change the size of them by using a different amount of characters other than 20, which is the default. We also have a select drop-down box. There's only 3 options in here, but we put select as the first option, so there wasn't one chosen. And also we have radio buttons here, which the only thing different from checkboxes with radio buttons is that you can only choose one, and one has to be selected, so you can't leave them blank. You have to either, in this case, either be male or female. We also have a submit button at the end, which won't be active at this point, meaning it won't do anything. We'll just click on it, but eventually we're going to use a PHP script, and we'll be able to put it on your website, and what it should do is send the form back to your email or any specified email. But I just wanted to give you kind of an overview of the finished product here, and I'm going to take a look at the code real quickly, before we start from scratch. But one of the things here, just to notice, that we do have a CSS file, and this will be for all our form elements. You can see we have a body rule here. We have one for the form itself, which gives the background color, border, some of those main things with the form. We also have some elements here for labels. The one selected down here, this is the one that floats to the left. We give them a width of 9 ems, which is a little different than using pixels. We could use pixels. We could try ems too, which helps it be a little more consistent as we change sizes. So we're going to try to work with ems a little bit more, because they're a little bit fluid. Also text align right. So these are the form labels. These are the ones that I mentioned are here. These are all the form labels that are showing up here. And actually the little trick here with all these floats, because we actually have multiple elements that are floating, and then they start over again. And the trick here is we actually put line breaks, and then we clear the float each time. So each time there's a float, it gets cleared when there's a line break. So in our HTML code, you can see there's a line break between each of these elements that's actually used to clear the float, so that it starts over again, and then that way all the elements don't float up next to each other. So that's kind of something with floating that you'll get used to when you work with this exercise.